Hi everybody. I wanted to go over the example that I covered in class on Tuesday, the 21st of April. I thought it might be a good idea for you to be able to come back and take another look. So first we're looking at the adjusted winner procedure. And in the first example in the book, we're talking about two major pharmaceutical companies that are looking at a proposed merger. So anytime that there's a merger in companies, there's a lot of issues that come up. What's the name going to be? Where is our main headquarters going to be? Is the chairman of the board going to stay the chairman? Is the CEO, which CEO of which company are we going to keep? Or will it be a decision for someone else? And will we lay off any workers? So this was the categories that they had to decide that were important to them. This side is Glasgow's, this side is SmithKline Beecham. Okay, so they get these point allocations without the other person knowing what their point allocations are. The only thing that they have to make sure of is that their points do not go over 100. Okay, so now let's take a look at how we allocate this. We know that they will add up to be 100. The first thing that we do is we go through and we choose the highest in each category. And that highest is temporarily given to that person. So first thing we have to do is add up our points and see if it's fair. If the points are not exactly the same, it's not fair. Now, sometimes the points might add up to be exactly the same. It's not likely, but it's possible. So here, if we add these, we will get 70. And here, if we add, we will get 60. So they're not the same. So that means that something from over here in the higher category has to go over to the lower category. So we want to look at what the importance is from this SmithKline Beecham to Glasgow Wellcome to see which one, or to see how they like each category. All right, so anyway, you take the person who has the highest points and you figure out the point ratio. So I'm going to put 25 over 20, 35 over 15, and 10 over 5. You only worry about doing the one in the column that has the most points because you're going to be shifting points from that person to the other person, or that company to the other company. Okay, let's see if you can see my... Oh, you can't. Okay, see if you can see the calculator here. Looks like it's going to work out today. And you'll need to find out what these numbers are. So you take 25 divided by 20, and here we have 1.25. And some of these you can look at and know what the ratio is. 35 divided by 15 will be 2.3 repeating. And then 10 divided by 5 obviously is 2. So what you want to do is take a look at which one is the smallest number, because that is the shortest distance between how they feel about it. So they both feel almost the same about the layoffs because this is the smallest number. So this is what we're going to take a look at allocating. Now, if I would take this 25 away from 70 and then move it over here to the other side, I would get 85 here, and then I would have to take 25 off of this, so I would only have 45. So that's obviously not going to work, because you can't have an allocation where it then puts one person as a winner and the other person as the loser. So we know we're not going to move the whole thing over. So let's get rid of that. However, if we move a portion of the layoffs, let's say you get to keep 20% of your employees, we get to keep 30% of your employees. How do you figure that out? Well, this is how. First, this is what we know we're going to allocate. because again, it has the smallest point ratio, and if I give one to the other, it's still going to be unequal. So this is when I'm going to split. So one of these I'm going to multiply by x, and the other one I'm going to multiply by 1 minus x. I don't include this number into the numbers when I add because I'm going to be splitting some of it. So that's the trickiest part of this, is to remember not to add this 25 now into the subtotal. So my subtotal now for this side is going to be 45. Over here, the ones that I still have allocated still add to 60, so it'll remain at 60. Now I set up an equation that has variables on both sides. How many times in school did we say we would never use this? Okay, so this is 60, and then to 60 I'm going to add a portion of 20, but I don't know what that portion is going to be, and that's where that x comes into play. Then on the other side, I now have 45 as my subtotal, and then I'm going to take a portion of 25. So I will multiply it by 1 minus x. Now I need to simplify my equation. And I'm going to add over here, and notice that I got the 70 that was up there as a subtotal before. That's no accident. Now, if you recall from variables on both sides when you did that in algebra, what you had to do was get all the variables on one side and all the numbers on the other side. And it was always preferable if you took the variable and you kept it positive. So if I add 25x to this side and add 25x to this side, I will get 45x here. And then if I subtract 60 from this side and subtract it also from this side, because again, what we do to one side we have to do to the other, I will get 10. From this point, I'm going to continue to solve for x, dividing by 45, and then I'm going to simplify. So 5 will go into both of these. So if I divide the top and bottom by 5, I will get 2/9. Now, just as an idea in a percentage, because a lot of times this is talked about in more of a percentage, 2 divided by 9 would be approximately 22%. So what that means is when I come back up here, my x, remember, is right here with my 20. So this is going to be now 20 times 2/9. So my 20 times 2/9. And then this is going to be 25 times what's left. If you take 2/9 away from 9/9, you will get 7/9. Looks like I need to write a little bit darker. So what that means is that Glasgow will get to put the headquarters where they want to, because they already won that. They will get to pick who the chairman of the board is. SmithKline they will get to name the company or pick the name of the company. They will also get to decide on the CEO. And then from that point, the layoffs will be split up. Glasgow will get 22% control of layoffs. And then if you take 100 minus 22, that means that SmithKline will get 78% control of layoffs. So you could look at it this way. They will get to keep 22% of their employees, and they will get to keep 78% of their employees. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, what is their actual point value that's equal now that you've done this? And that's where this 2/9 and 7/9 comes into play. So I'm going to show you here. Let me erase this a little bit, give it a little more room. If I take my 20 times 2/9, and I'm just going to put it in the calculator for now. When you do 2/9, you do 2 divided by 9. Put it in like this. You will have 4.44. So that means this number up here, instead of it being 20, is actually going to be 4.44. So if I would add that to my 60, this is actually now 64.44. Okay? Now over here, this number is going to have to be 64.44 too. How do I get that? Well, right here I have my 25 times 7/9. And again, I can put that in my calculator. 25 times 7/9. And I get 19.44. Well, if I have 19.44 and I add that to 45, I will get 64.44. So when you're asked the question, what point value do both parties get? That's when they're the same. And that number would be the 64.44. Okay? Really doesn't mean anything about value. The only thing that it means is they both feel like they received the same amount. Okay? So hopefully this helps you. And by the time you get this video, I will have done it in class. And if you have any more questions, you know you can text, call, or email.